In example 3, we want to simplify and write our answer with a positive exponent only. So if we take a look at letter A, we have x to the first power. Remember, if there's nothing there, there's actually a 1 there, over x to the negative second power. Our goal here is to always get our negative exponents positive before we start simplifying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my fraction bar, and I'm going to look at each x individually. I have an x to the first on the top. Since this is a positive exponent, this x to the first stays where it's at on the top. Then if I take a look at the denominator, I have x raised to a negative exponent. To make this exponent positive, I need to move it to the top. So I'm going to move the x to the second to the top to make it positive. This is still then over 1, which we're not going to need in our final answer. But now what I'm looking at is just the numerator here, which is x to the first times x to the second. Since I'm multiplying two bases that are the same, this is where I add my exponents, and I end up with x to the third. And again, I don't need the 1 on the bottom. Dividing by 1 won't change anything. So my final answer, like I said, is just x to the third. Let's take a look at letter B. We have x to the negative 6 on the top and x to the negative second on the bottom. Don't try to simplify until your exponents are positive. It just makes things easier in the end. So the very first thing we're going to do is change our exponents, move things around until everything's positive. This x to the negative 6 that's in the numerator, since it's a negative exponent, it needs to move to the bottom so that that 6 can become positive. So we get x to the positive 6 in the denominator, and x to the negative 2 in the denominator. To make that exponent positive, it needs to move to the numerator. So x to the positive 2 comes up in the numerator. Now I can go and look and see, because these are the same base, they're both x's, and 6 is bigger than 2, I know my x's are going to end up in the denominator, and I'm going to subtract 6 minus 2 to give me 4, knowing that my 1 is still up there on the top. So I end up with 1 over x to the fourth. Then I would like you to try this, so pause it now, unpause it when you're ready to check your answers. If you did number 1 correctly, you should get 1 over x to the 8th. And if you did number 2 correctly, you should get y to the 13th. If you have any questions, please let me know.